Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Commander Cards You Should Be Running, but Aren't. Episode 3. This episode, Timesifter. Timesifter is an artifact that casts for 5 generic and reads, at the beginning of each upkeep, each player exiles the top card of their library. The player who exiled the card with the highest converted mana cost takes an extra turn after this one. If 2 or more players' cards are tied for the highest cost, the tied players repeat this process until the tie is broken. So, how do I know that you're not running Timesifter in your deck? Well, EDA Track only has it in 528 decks, and Card Kingdom has it near mint for as low as $1.99 USD. For a card that's only been printed once as a rare in Mirrodin, that is extremely cheap. This card should be $5 at least. Now, while this card can fit into decks such as Norn the Weary or Yannette Cryptic Sovereign as a more competitive angle to take multiple extra turns, I like to imagine that it's colorless for the reason of being able to fit almost any deck that can just, spin up how the tables are going to turn instead of just passing the same way every time. It's just going to change it all up, running in a deck such as Zedru and just completely making the game that much more crazy. Maybe just throw this in a deck where you want to cast a bunch of big expensive things, like a deck that could run Wildfire Eternal. Maybe a deck that's running a Perplexing Chimera or a Tali Primal Storm. There's multiple different angles you could take with this card that, while you could brainstorm and filter the top of your library to take as many extra turns as you want, I love the idea of this coming down and just completely shaking up the table. And you have that one player who takes 4 extra turns in a row, but then it goes to somebody who's able to kill him really quickly because they take 2-3 extra turns in a row, and the snowball can just start to pile up really quickly. However, there is that more competitive aspect with this card where you can brainstorm to filter expensive cards to the top that might not be the most useful at the time. You can spy network to check the top card of your opponent's library to make sure that you're going to win. You can Onomatu's Augury or Narset to make sure you're casting your expensive stuff for free every turn, and that can be an interesting way to play this card. Timesifter has a 4.011 out of 5 with 44 votes community rating on the Gatherer. However, most of the negative comments mostly seem to be people talking about how this mills you out really quickly, up 3-4 cards every round of the table, but that adds to the fun of the card. Sure, you mill your bomb, but you could take a whole nother turn, or you mill a land out of the way, which is nice, but you don't get that extra turn. It adds to the balance, but also adds to the whimsy and fun of this card. Am I saying you should run Timesifter because it's going to be the most competitive card in your deck? Gonna let you take 8 extra turns in a row and just be a massive bomb until someone deals with it? No. But I am saying you should run it because it's a fun card that would take a break from the monotony of the game, almost like a properly timed Thieves' Auction can just spice up the rounds of the table and can make everything more fun. And that's why you should be running Timesifter in your commander deck.